I am absolutely sick and tired of all the garbage video games that we have been getting lately. Video games that make zero sense, and the inflated price tags have a mutual feeling. I have noticed that modern video games are really not doing well, and listen people, one good AAA video game is not good enough to say that AAA is still good. Clearly, the people who are doing the least good is the AAA genre. The AAA games are the video games that are the most highly anticipated games of the year. These are games like your God of War Ragnaroks, your Need for Speed Outbounds, and your Tekken 8s. I want to talk about how you and everyone can enjoy video games again. I was struggling for a while to find anything good to play in modern video games. I cannot afford all of them, and quite frankly, I can't imagine buying every new video game that comes out because most of them are bad. The only choice I have, and one that I'm more than happy with doing, is to buy older games on discount. This is way more cost effective, and if the game isn't that good, it really doesn't hurt my wallet that much. I play on a PC which has a much wider variety of video games to buy, but unfortunately it doesn't have everything. If you have a console, then you are more likely to find anything if you get lucky. The sad part about video game consoles is that the online stores for the old consoles like the PS3 and Xbox 360 have been shut down, of course to the dismay of the Sony and Xbox fans who still love the consoles. This is why it was normal for people who had the PS3 and Xbox 360 to have anywhere from 30 to 60 games, which is something that you won't see today either on 8th or 9th gen consoles. The one thing I know is that PC gamers have many games, both physical and digital. You might find that in some cases they have up to anywhere from 100 to 300 games. For example, Steam. The video game platform Steam was started back in 2003. So imagine if someone started buying games on Steam back when it first started up to the present day. That would mean that they should have up to maybe even 1,000 games on their Steam profiles, bearing in mind that they have had the same Steam account for the past 20 years. And after a bit of research, I found out that there are multiple people who have just under or over 1,000 games. So it's not too far from the truth. And of course, it would mainly be on PC because very few people would have the space to have 1,000 physical games. Though there is one guy, his name is Antonio Romero Monteiro, who is the 5-time Guinness World Record holder for having the biggest video game collection in the world. A huge collection of 24,000 games. A collection that he started when he was only just 10 years old, and he has been building it for the past 25 years. You can imagine that 24,000 video games would not be cheap, and you would be right. He spent an estimated $2.1 million on his collection, and I'm sure that his collection is ever growing. Getting back on topic, video games are meant to be fun. They were made for people to have fun. They were made as an escape from reality. For a brief moment, you can forget about all your problems and be a legend in whatever game you play. Video games are better when shared. This is why it's best when playing on couch co-op or even split screen, which unfortunately is something that you just don't see that much in video games these days. However, if you have consoles that have better video games for split screen, invite some friends over, get some snacks, and have a video game night where you and all your friends play together and have fun. I would say that even if you're old, you can still do it. You are never too old to have fun. Bring the fun aspect of video games back to gaming. If board games can still be fun, why can't video games? The best way to enjoy video games again is to go back and play the old video games you like. Go back to the old video games you have, revisit them, play them alone or with a friend, enjoy them. Go back and play games that you missed out on and that are still available to purchase. This is something that I have been doing. I bought quite a few games for next to nothing on discount, and these are games that I can just hop in and play. Most of them are action based and fast paced, so I never get bored and I'm always entertained. The thrill I have of the same feeling of playing video games like back when I was a kid, have to respawn over and over, dying multiple times, having to actually use my brain to get to the next level instead of having everything spoon fed to me and running and ruining the experience. I have been playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Prince of Persia Warrior Within, and they are still really good games. A really good example of how good Ubisoft used to be. Though both games are dated, but it's not about graphics, it's about gameplay and story, and so far Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was ahead of its time and still holds up to this day. The gameplay is as good as it has ever been, and honestly I'm having so much fun playing it. The only issue I have is I wish the game had better stealth. I feel that sandbox games and open world games don't really understand stealth, but the game is old, so I'm not too hard on it. For what the game lacks in stealth, it makes up for in everything else, and I'm still enjoying the game. I've been playing Prince of Persia Warrior Within, and it really was peak Prince of Persia. The game is as good as it has ever been. in, and I have played enough of them to know that the gameplay is the reason why people love the Prince of Persia franchise. The gameplay is still solid, it's just that the game is very strict with its controls, and would seem that the game would prefer you use a controller because the controllers are rather janky and clunky, or many times where I made mistakes and died because of the controls. The story is the same as any Prince of Persia game, which is very little story. They try to make it seem like there's a story, but it often comes out as bland, but I don't mind it. The visuals are dated, so this is one of the most PS2 looking games I have ever seen, but it's still a lot of fun. I would urge people to give both of these games a try. My outlook on games have changed after playing both games, and I still feel the same about them, meaning that for a brief moment I actually forget about everything and just end up playing the games. They took me back to my childhood, of back when games were good, and they have reignited my passion for video games. These are video games that just want to be played, not a desperate example of bad mental health. My culture, beliefs and opinions are not represented in this game, and that's okay. Someone who looks like me are not in these games, and that's okay. My identity is not represented in these games, and that's okay. I feel like these days people want too much representation, and the video games suffer because of it, because the people who make the video games are disturbed people who are ruining gaming. At the end of the day, go back and play old games. Enjoy them because they want to be played. Enjoy them because they know who and what they are. They are not one thing trying to be another thing, or trying to be something they are not. They understand their demographic, target audience and niche, so when you play them you only get one feeling, and that is nostalgia. Nostalgia will save video games, and that is something we shouldn't run away from. Gaming needs us to save it, and we can only do that by playing the games we like, loved and cherished. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.